allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you call the roll, Ms. Bolton?
Mr. Burns,
Here.
Mr. Walters, Ms. Bolton here, Ms. Meister,
Here.
Ms. Jennings.
Here.
That we have a quorum. At this point, we'd like this to thank everybody who's attending and people who are at home or watching. Going to sort of turn this over right now to our village administrator, Justin Meany. There's an ordinance for council to consider, and following the discussion on that ordinance and possible voting on that ordinance, we will hold a brief executive session before we go into interviews for our candidates for the vacancy on village council. Mr. Hayden.
Good evening, everyone. So this is a motion to approve Ordinance 8, 2024 to authorize the village administrator to examine certain unpaid water bills and to certify them to the Hampton County Auditor as liens upon properties. This is nothing new. We've had this in place for many years. It actually came to my attention the day after our regularly scheduled council meeting, and the deadline is the 30th of this month, which is why we added it to the agenda this evening. It was actually passed as a resolution in 2016. We've operated under that resolution until this year. They won't accept it anymore. Based off the recommendation of Mr. Merkel, we're making an ordinance, so it'll carry year over year.
You'll have to renew it every year?
We will not by making it an ordinance.
I gotcha, okay.
As a resolution, we should have. Just some information about this. Delinquent amounts that'll be sent are $500 or more delinquent for any water bill. Notice of delinquency letters were sent out to anyone that it applies to on July 10th, with the to be paid by August 23rd of this year.
If you guys remember, when Cindy reported the revenue, there was like an assessment amount.
Yeah.
And nobody was sure what that was. Well, it was Waterworks assessment from placing these liens. Do you know, does that include garbage too? Or
It does include garbage, and garbage was not part of the resolution in the past, so we didn't include it as the ordinance. I don't believe for trash, it requires an ordinance or resolution. So yes, we will also be sending off for any past due trash bills for liens, and that'll be
harder to get up to that amount.
I think it's
with
over
the garbage.
$150
Okay.
for trash. Yes.
Okay.
Any amount over 150. These amounts, the 500 and 150, were approved in a prior meeting at the recommendation of Mr. Merkel.
Okay. That's fine. Got it there.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for
Are we going to pass this as an emergency?
I
Thank you.
believe we have to, yes. It's due, we have to get this in by the 30th.
That's Monday.
Do we suspend the rules or do we?
Yes.
We suspend the rules. We suspend the rules and we have 3/4 vote of council present. Do they meet the threshold?
We have 4 or 5.
Is there any further discussion from council or questions?
And you just run through what the experience for the citizens affected would be. So they've already received a letter, an opportunity to pay has lapsed. Brain's not working tonight, sorry. Now this gets added to their tax bill, or it's only shows up to them when it is time for them to sell and all of a sudden they have something sitting there?
Their
Or
tax bill.
It's added to their tax bill and it's not paid as a lien on the property, so it's remedy. So to answer your question, a notice of the delinquency was sent out on July 10th with the to be paid date no later than August 23rd. from the date the delinquency letters were sent out, any account that contacted Pam, the waterworks clerk, for payment, or to make payment arrangements, or explain the hardship, were removed from the list and the accounts removed.
Any other questions, discussion? I believe we need a motion first to suspend the rules and read by title only.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bolton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Meister. Any further discussion? Ms. Bolton, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Bolton, yes. Ms. Meister.
Yes.
Ms. Jennings.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Now we need a motion to pass ordinance number 8/2024.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Bolton,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Meister.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Bolton, yes. Ms. Meister.
Yes.
Ms. Jennings.
Motion passes 4-0. At this point, we're going to be going into an executive session. That executive session's purpose is to interview our candidates. We have 3 candidates tonight we'll be interviewing for the vacancy that was came about because of Mr. Williams resigning his position. We're going to, when I say brief, it'll probably be 5 minutes maximum. After that, we'll begin our interviews. So I need a motion to go into executive session for that purpose.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Meister.
Is the implication that the interviews themselves will be public,
No, they're not going to be called.
but they're just not part of the executive session?
They're not part of the executive session. Do I have a second?
All right, you just confused me.
Yeah.
Well, in other words, we're going into executive session. Public's not going to be part of it. I think that was your question.
Yeah, but you said executive session lasts 5 minutes.
Our
This is where
our discussion in the executive session is going to last. Then we'll start the interview.
In executive
In
session.
executive session, correct. I'm sorry.
Clearer and meets the purpose to my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
I will second the motion that's on the floor.
Second by Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? Would you call the roll?
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Bolton, yes. Ms. Meister.
Yes.
Ms. Jennings.
Yes.
At this point, we're going to executive session. Please kill the live stream. Although we'd ask you to stand outside.